Bhushan, a friend, motivator, and guide to IAS aspirant, international motivational speaker, leadership trainer, CEO coach, political strategist, and policy advisor. Welcome to ASG. ASG believe in quality, commitment, and success. The greater the obstacle, the more glory we have in overcoming it. The difficulties with which we are met for the mates of honor with set of virtue. So the most important news of today, the source is the Hindu newspaper. Indore wins cleanest city in the title again. Indore wins cleanest city title again. Survey of the sanitation in over 4,000 city was carried out 28 days earlier this year. For the fourth year in row, Indore has been ranked the cleanest city in the country according to Swachh Suraksha 2020 report released by the Union Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry on Tuesday. The survey of sanitation in over 4,000 cities was carried out 28 days earlier this year. The ministry released the findings through a virtual event that was supposed to be attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but he could not make it. Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Puri said Swachh Sarvekshan in its fifth edition had become world's largest sanitation survey with 1.8 crore citizens giving their feedback. Among the cities with over 1 lakh populations, Indore was ranked number 1, followed by Surat, Navi Mumbai, Ambikapur, Mysore, Vijayawada, Ahmedabad, New Delhi, Chandrapur, and Khargone. Among the smaller cities with the population under 1 lakh, the top 3 cities, Karat, Saswat, and Londwala, were all from Maharashtra. Chhattisgarh was ranked the cleanest state. Chhattisgarh was ranked the cleanest state out of those with over 100 cities, while Jharkhand was the cleanest among those with the fewer the 100 urban local bodies on cities. And in the category of Ganga towns, Varanasi, Mr. Modi's Lok Sabha constituency ranked the cleanest. Namta Basai, a big hit among the Kerala tribal children. Namta Basai, the Kerala government unique program of teaching the tribal children in their mother tongue has become a runway hit in Attapadi. The program implemented by the Samagra Shiksha Kerala has succeeded in retaining hundreds of the tribal children in their online classes by making them feel at home with the language of instruction. The SSK has distributed some 50 laptops exclusively for Namta Basai recorded classes and offered through a YouTube channel. Most children in 192 hamlets in the Attapadi began enjoying the classes when the lessons in the Namta Basai were introduced a few weeks ago. Classes were being offered in 3 tribal languages in Attapadi, while the Irula language has the largest number of takers. The Muduka and Kurumba language. Muduka and Kurumba don't have as many. Out of 192 hamlets in the Attapadi, 149 belong to the Irula tribe, 24 to the Muduka tribe, and 19 to the Kuruna tribe. Naturally, the project got its name in the Irula language, and Namta Basai in Irula means our language. Namta Basai, Irula means our language. Irula means our language. The leaders we need to in India's world. A tormented world, the second world of its comfort from the pandemic whose devastating reach mocks humanity's collective capacity to prevail eons of the answer about our common future. Glaring and the persisting inequities about the world, accentuated by the virus and the digital divide, foretell the story of the failed leadership and the failing realization of the Millennium Development Goals. The questions of the leadership befitting the moment was therefore seldom more relevant. History beckons us once again the summon leadership that can be navigate to happy and scored future for all, anchored in the inviolability of values that define our humanity, whether one subscribes to the view that history is a chronicle of accomplishment of the great men and women of their time, or believes that they do not make history as they please, but under circumstances existing already. The centrality of leadership at transformative moments in the history stands emphatically established as will. Durant remains remind us leaders are the very life and the blood of the history of which politics and industry are but a frame. Arnold Toynbee, in his monumental work, A Study of History, A Study of History, A Study of it, tell us about similarly that the rise and fall of the civilization is a history of periodic challenge and our response to them. Clearly, the question of leadership is integral to the context of the summit. A potent cocktail, a potent cocktail, a potent cocktail. A survey of the present landscape is both daunting and depressing. The global retreat of the democracy's relegations of the ethical imperative to the obsessive pursuit of the raw power as an end in itself, the crisis of instrumental legitimacy, and the challenge of the forging a political consensus needed for the hard but necessary decision interrogate the proclaimed assumptions of the democratic resilience, the rise of the jingoistic nationalism in the confrontation with the international cooperative endeavor to face common challenges. A sequel balance the sordid saga of the fake news and misfortune and the unprecedented global financial crisis that has weakened our collective capacity to rescue national economies, loss of millions of jobs within the estimated $3.4 trillion lost in the labor revenue, and the resultant social distress, heightened geopolitical rivalries, racism, xenophobia, and the woeful absence of the united global's response to the challenge of the climate change collectively present a potent cocktail of the societal instability and political disruption. The marriage age misconception. Addressing poverty is the key to improving the health and nutritional status of mothers and their infants. From the ramparts of the Red Fort, the Independence, the Prime Minister declared that the government is considering raising the legal age of the marriage for girls, which is currently 18 years. He said, "We have formed a committee to ensure that daughters are no longer suffering from the malnutrition and they are married off at the right age. As soon as the report is submitted, appropriate decisions will be taken about the age of marriage for daughters." The committee is questioning the task force set up on 4th June, announced earlier by the finance minister in the budget speech. It is widely understood but not officially stated that the task force is meant to produce a rationale for raising the minimum age of marriage for women to 21, thus bringing it on a par with that of men. Population control. Since there is no obvious constituency that has been demanding such a challenge, the government seems to be motivated by the belief that simply raising the age of marriage is the best way to improve the health and nutritional status of mothers and their infants. Because it flies in the face of the available evidence, we need to ask where this belief is coming from. One plausible source could be those who advocate for the population control, who are influential, and those which research is well funded. Consider example of the article published in the prestigious journal The Lancet Child and Adolescent Health by the Nugent, Scott, Penn, Tron, and Manon on the May 15, 2019. It was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. This article analyzes data on the stunting in children and thinness in the mothers, a measure of the under malnutrition in the latest round of the National Family Health Survey for 2015 to 16. The paper uses rigorous method to chase a flood of the hypothesis. Thank you so much.